Hey everyone, Tim the Collect Jurassic here with one of the most exciting Mattel Jurassic reviews that I have been waiting to share. Of course, we're talking about the Hammond Collection today. This is the new ultra-detailed, ultra-articulated, adult-oriented collectible line from Mattel, featuring tons of classic Jurassic dinosaurs and human characters from the entire film franchise. This is the real deal. Of course, if you're familiar with collecting Mattel, you probably know about Amber Collection. That was the 6-inch line that was discontinued this year in favor of this 3 3/4 line, which is awesome because this line actually scales with all the other Mattel Jurassic toys you can see on the shelf. These toys scale with that, so it's not like this whole separate scale where dinosaurs are costing $30 to $60. These cost the same, if not less, than some of the figures you've already been collecting, and they have even more articulation and paint detail and all that awesome stuff, which of course we will look at when we get them out of the box, because that's what we're here to do today, is unbox, review. We'll of course do some comparisons, even some comparisons with Amber Collection, as well as some figures that have come before these that are, we can kind of see the difference between a basic figure and something more premium like Parasaurolophus here. Of course, besides Parasaurolophus, we also have Baryonyx, Ian Malcolm, and Velociraptor, all from different movies, which we'll go over that as we look at the boxes. But yeah, the comparisons are going to be exciting. So we're going to see just how premium these figures are, and I just cannot wait to share. So let's go ahead and get started with one of the bigger dinosaurs. We're going to go ahead and start with Parasaurolophus here. This is a $20 figure in the U.S. You can pick them up in Target stores or also on Amazon and a couple other places. The link is in the caption if you want to know where to buy these figures. Just check that out. But $20, you get this really nice figure, premium box here. Let's go ahead and talk about that packaging, because that's what's really exciting. We have this really nice, serious-looking black box, not unlike Amber Collection, but I actually think this hits the mark for classic Jurassic even better. We have that T-Rex logo, the iconic logo. It's got this nice gloss pass on it. We also have the Hammond Collection logo with a little silhouette of John Hammond himself within the amber cane. One of my favorite details is this little silhouette of a tree line on the bottom. That's straight up from Jurassic Park. That's like the exact same pattern they used in the first film's marketing. On the side, we have a picture of Parasaurolophus as well as the film it's from, The Lost World Jurassic Park, which is so cool that they put those full color logos on the box. We also have a render of the figure on the back, again printed really nicely with this nice gloss. Also a little bio. Parasaurolophus, the massive Parasaurolophus, is captured by engine on Isla Sorna, but not without a fight. A little screen grab from the movie as well. I like the little Mattel logo, empowering the next generation through play. And then big old Amber Collection logo on the side. Top's got the Rex logo. Again, I like this little machine scape they have here. I don't know what this is supposed to be, but it kind of feels techie, almost like a containment vessel. You can see the rivets around Parasaurolophus and all that stuff. And then legal stuff on the bottom. 8 and up is saying that what this figure is for. So definitely a adult-oriented figure. If you throw this in the toy box as a 4-year-old, it's probably going to get destroyed. So if you're a parent watching this, keep that in mind. That this is probably not the best toy for the younger kids, but for older kids and of course adult collectors, this thing's going to be perfect. Just as long as you're careful with it. Oh man, that looks beautiful. Inside the box too, I noticed there's like a cool amber artwork. It almost looks like a petrified forest in amber. It makes a really cool background to the figure anyway. The box is so beautiful, I don't want to throw it away. It looks like we just have to pop the figure out or cut a couple ties, and then we'll be able to get at Parasaurolophus. So similar to Amber Collection, those things were never easy to get out, and it looks like it's the same for Hammond Collection here. It's not going to be easy. We're gonna have to cut a couple pieces to pop these guys out. Let me see if that is enough plastic ties. Nope, there's still some on the feet, it looks like. I don't know why I understand that this figure has lots of articulation, so maybe they don't want things flopping around in here. I don't know, but I just know it always makes for difficult unboxing videos. We also have the tail here, which should just pop out pretty easily. And then that tail should pop in. Looks like there's a little peg, so you can put it exactly where it needs to go. See if I can get that in there with one try. There we go. And then rotate it into place. So let's go ahead and pose this bad boy, because it's full of articulation, right? It's got really nice balance. So that's just out of the box without me messing around with it too much. It's already balancing on its hind legs, which if you've played with any of the other Mattel Parasaurolophuses, you know that those things are nearly impossible to pose on their hind legs, but this one's ready to go out of the box. And the first thing I noticed on this figure is the paint detail. That's what's like really popping off, what's really making this feel different than a traditional Mattel Jurassic release. You have all of this cool stripes on the back. You have this little flecks of brown on the sides, paint on the arms. The nails are painted. Of course, on the other side, you're going to see the same thing with those painted legs and all that. Paint on the tail. The tail is like a soft plastic, so it does have a wire in it, but it's not as like gummy and rubber as the Amber Collection. It's a harder plastic. It feels more substantial, which makes me feel better because I always worried about those Amber tails kind of degrading over time. But this feels like a nicer plastic. The rest of the body is a harder plastic, but still kind of soft. And the neck is kind of that same soft rubber. And then the face is hard plastic, but you can see the detail on the face is just incredible. It's got a little flecks around the eye, little flecks of paint, and then gold eye paint on this one. And then the mouth opens up too, I think. Let me see if I can get my finger in there. I thought the mouth opened up, but it looks, oh yeah, it opens up. It's just shut tight. So the mouth opens up so you can do a pose with it. You know, its mouth opening and it trumpeting. And it's got a little painted tongue in there too. So you can see the painted tongue. Looks really, really nice. Yeah, I love it that this red stripe on the back too that goes all the way up into the neck. The neck is soft plastic too, which it's not bendable, but I kind of like that they made it soft. It feels nice. There's a really nice undercolor too to the figure, and the stripes on the arms and the legs are really like, I mean, they're just a really nice detail that makes it feel like a Lost World. I mean, look at how well this thing balances too. I mean, it really sits well on its feet, and its feet aren't oversized either, but it's still getting really nice balance. But articulation is probably what makes this figure, even more premium. You have the shoulders that move, right? Then you have the elbows that move, so you can do all kinds of poses like that. The neck I got rotation at the base of the neck and also at the head, so you can move the head. I already did the jaw, right? But you can move the head and the neck. And then the legs have rotation at the body that rotates out from the body as well as back and forth. The knees, and then the ankles. And then I already went over the tail that rotates around and also has a bendable tail. So you can do running poses with this thing. Which if I, wanted to sit here and balance with it, I could probably get it to pose on one leg even. So you can have it kind of, galloping in a stampede. And you can also have it on all fours too, I would presume. But yeah, this thing is awesome with the balance it has. I just love that it literally just stands on 2 feet without even doing anything too fancy. Do some really cool poses. This is definitely one where I'm going to have to get a couple of them because it's just such a beautiful herd species that I feel like just having one is kind of a waste. So, wow, really nice. So that's Parasaurolophus. Let's go ahead and switch gears. Actually, you know what I want to do before we put away Parasaurolophus? Let's go ahead and look at it next to the Mattel Parasaurolophus. This is the basic figure. And you can see they're actually almost the same size. I'd say the Hammond Collection one's a little bit bigger, but you can see a lot of the similarities here. But kind of, I mean, this figure is $15. This figure is $20, and you're getting way more paint articulation, paint detailing articulation. You don't get the electronic feature, but the articulation alone. I mean, this one can like stand up on its legs, but it doesn't look like it's supposed to. It looks kind of awkward, whereas it's, you know, kind of meant to be bipedal. Whereas this one, you know, without even trying, you know, easily stands up on its hind legs like it should. And the colors on the Mattel one are just sort of garish anyway. The sort of really oversaturated yellow doesn't quite match the Lost World design, whereas this, you know, little softer light brown is much truer to the film. I really want to get this guy up really on its hind legs so it can, yeah, that looks more like the Lost World maquette to me, which looks really, really exciting. That's what gets me feeling the Lost World vibes, is that pose. So that is Parasaurolophus. Let's go ahead and get Ian Malcolm out, human figure. You know, there's a whole host of human figures planned, including Alan Grant, Ellie Sattler. So really exciting stuff. But of course, not surprised they started off with Ian Malcolm. Has the same kind of premium feeling box as the other, you know, Parasaurolophus I already looked at. It's got the Dr. Ian Malcolm, the you know, the logo. Also has Jurassic Park logo on the side with a close-up of Ian's face. Another render on the back. Dr. Ian Malcolm. During his visit to Jurassic Park, Dr. Ian Malcolm's expertise in chaos theory comes to light in a painfully personal way. I like these bios. Very much reminds me of the Amber Collection. They did bios there too, which is just kind of like a fun extra piece. Ooh, has a Jurassic Park logo on the back as well up here. I wonder if the... No, I was going to say, does this one have Lost World? Yeah, it has Lost World on the back too. So you can see that they put the logos on the backs of these two, which is fun. So this is Jurassic Park, Ian Malcolm. So you can already see that the figure comes with a couple extra arms. Funny enough. Comes with a flare. Can never have Ian Malcolm without a flare, apparently. We got that with the Amber Collection and the Legacy Collection versions. And then popping out in here. So 3 3/4 figure. Let's go ahead and look at their detail and articulation. So articulation wise, I mean, that's really what's going to make this figure different than the Legacy Collection version. It looks like it has double jointed knees. So he can really really do some, I mean, get these, sometimes these articulated figures, I know from Star Wars, you kind of have to get their joints loosened up, which, you know, I'll have to do on camera here. So those double jointed knees are going to let him do a little bit more, like he can bend his leg all the way back versus just a regular joint on the regular figure. His arms are going to be, looks like they have just sort of an expanded elbow joint and a shoulder joint. Nothing too radically different than the Legacy Collection figure. They just look like higher quality joints, but they're not, you know, constructed different to let him pose differently per se. And then his hands have articulation at the wrist, which lets them spin around, and also a little hinge that lets them go back and forth, which makes a huge difference. That's probably the biggest articulation change a lot of people will notice, is those hinged and rotating wrists that let you do some things. And then the head is obviously on a ball joint that's going to move as well. But, you know, for me, what makes this figure really nice is the likeness looks a lot better here. I'm going to go ahead and get the other Ian Malcolm figure out. So this is the Legacy Collection version. He also came with the flare. But you can see if you look at their faces here, you know, just how this Ian Malcolm looks. Kind of looks like he almost looks bloated. He looks like he's had some work done. Whereas this one is a much better representation of Ian Malcolm, in my opinion. I mean, I know people are probably going to say they both look bad or they both look fine. But I definitely think that this one always kind of rubbed me the wrong way. He just looks a little ridiculous. And I feel like this new one is an improvement. So I know the old one, the sunglasses came off, but in this one, it looks like they're oh no, they come off. So you can take his sunglasses off and then you get a look at his face. So yeah, I think that is a better Jeff Goldblum for me. And then his glasses fit on. There's like a little tiny hole in the side of his face, and they just kind of pop in there pretty effortlessly, honestly. They just kind of popped right in, which was nice. And he comes with extra arms too. So he's got this jacket, which is kind of his classic look. But you can also, I guess, pull off the arms. Should be pretty easy. Yep, they just pop off. And then you can take his entire jacket off. And you can either... I guess you have to put the sleeveless arms on at that point because they're implying that he's taken off his jacket or he's wearing short sleeves underneath. So these arms just pop right in. No problem there. I think I actually prefer him without his coat. I think the coat looks a little bulky to me if I'm being really critical. But these arms have the same articulation at the elbow and the wrists and all that. So this is probably a better one-to-one comparison with the Legacy Collection figure. If you want to get those, if you want to see that articulation or see that comparison and see how the articulation is a little bit different. Still got the belt buckle painted and all that stuff. The necklace is painted, but his necklace has like a little spot of blue, like I think there's like a crystal or stone in there, and then he's got little silver paint on his boots too, on the little ring on his boots, whereas this guy's just painted gray. So I mean the paint detail is minimal, but like his wristwatch is painted, whereas this one's just black. So a little bit more paint detail, and then just likeness and proportion wise, the Hammond Collection one is just feeling a little bit more premium. But I like how you can switch them out with, different arms and stuff. Again, to me, the coat feels a little bit bulky. We'll go ahead and put it on one more time before we put this figure aside. Oh, I guess I should mention his flare. He does come with a new flare. It looks it's the same mold as the old flare, just without the white detail. So, it's literally just red plastic versus a little bit of smoke on it. So almost a downgrade if you think about it. Not less detail, but luckily for them, I have plenty of flares. So I am not want for flares when it comes to Mattel figures. I have more than enough. You know what? His jacket has like a brown almost tone to it, which is interesting. I wonder if that's more film accurate. Now that I'm putting this jacket on, though, I think it's fitting a little better now that I put it on myself, which is good. So there is Ian in his iconic film jacket, with the option, of course, to put on those sleeveless arms. But there is Malcolm and Parasaurolophus. Let's go ahead and get to Baryonyx next. So this one is not from Jurassic Park, not from Lost World, but from Fallen Kingdom. You can see there they have the logo for Fallen Kingdom right there. Also says Baryonyx in front. Same packaging as Parasaurolophus. The render in back. Got the little picture from Fallen Kingdom. It says, as lava rains down, Baryonyx burst into the bunker, forcing Claire Dearing and Franklin Webb to make a narrow escape in every respect. I love that scene. Such a great scene. Probably one of my favorite scenes from Fallen Kingdom. So, introduction to Baryonyx, some fun humor, and now we got an awesome premium level Baryonyx toy from that scene. So let's go ahead and cut all our plastic ties. Got a lot of work to do on this figure. Bear with me. Not as many plastic ties as Amber Collection though. Just a few. And I think... Oh, he's got some on his jaw, too. Spoke too soon. There. That should be everything. So we'll pop him out of there, same way we did the Parasaur. There's still one on his foot. Let's try that again. Pop him out. Pop his tail out, if we can. Uh-oh, I think I might have a defective one. His arm is really loose. I don't know if you can see that, but we'll go ahead and keep reviewing him, but that's probably not going to fly. I'm definitely thinking that's supposed to have a little bit more stick to it. But let's go ahead and put his tail on. 30. There we go. Rotate it around. And there it is. It's a little bit smaller than Parasaurolophus. Well, I guess it's a little bit shorter, but it's kind of got more plastic to it. But I love the mouth on this thing. Look at that. Very croc-like. It's got that articulation that's on top and bottom. So the jaw opens on the bottom and the jaw opens on the top. So you get a kind of a bigger roar, a more dynamic pose when you're roaring it, you know, versus just a bottom jaw roar or a top jaw roar. You're getting, you know, both ends of it. And the articulation is like from the head and the neck, just like Parasaurolophus, which lets you do, you know, so, ooh, it's got really nice up and down range too. So you can make him look up. And then articulation wise, he's got the legs that, you know, same exact joints, except for one more from the Parasaurolophus. It has the hip, the knee, and the ankle, but it also has one on the foot, which lets you do a few more different poses as well. That tail has got on a ball joint. It's also that hard, bendy plastic that I really like. That's feels way more durable than anything that ever came out with Amber. And this one, too, is also just really, really easy to balance, right? And then it's got the arm articulation, the shoulder. So this arm's nice and tight. See, I can move it around and it stays wherever I put it. This arm is very loose. So minor defect on this figure. I'm guessing they just didn't, there's some joint inside that didn't close fully to give that the resistance it needs. So I can't really pose it. It's going to just kind of fall where it lays. So small QC issue aside, everything else about this figure looks great. The paint is really cool because it has that white outline on the dark pattern through the whole figure. That looks really nice. That's something that was in the movie and the film designs, but none of the toys ever captured. The closest we ever got to a accurate Fallen Kingdom Baryonyx is probably either the Chaos figure from Camp Cretaceous or this original Fallen Kingdom one that literally used a scan from the movie to make the toy. So you can see just a couple differences. Obviously, there's no articulation on this one, but has that flecked metallic blue that's a little bit more subtle on the Hammond Collection one. But there's just a lot more detail on the Hammond Collection one. I mean, the back has all of these little alligator ridges, whereas this one, that detail it's there. It's just a lot softer. You can see like the individual rib cage. Just a lot more detail overall in this other figure. I'm bummed about the arm though, man. That's too bad. Otherwise, I'm very impressed with the Baryonyx. As far as paint and detail goes, I'll just have to grab another one that hopefully has a better posing arm. I know they exist because I know other people have gotten one and had no problem. But this is what's awesome about Hammond Collection is just how posable it is. I mean, just playing with this guy here in the review, I've already put him in a bunch of different poses you can do. That added foot articulation really lets you do some crazy fun poses on this one too that even the Parasaurolophus doesn't necessarily have. So I love how effortless. I mean, they really worked on balancing these things so you can easily make poses. Look at that. That's so cool. Just walking around with its mouth closed. Really cool. So that is Baryonyx from Jurassic World, the second medium-sized figure for Hammond Collection coming out. That leaves us to our final Hammond Collection figure, which is probably one of the ones I'm most excited about. That is Velociraptor from Jurassic Park. Got the little Jurassic Park logo right there with a close-up of the raptor, Jurassic Park logo on top. Velociraptor, a pack hunter by nature. The Velociraptor has intellect, insight, and instinct. The perfect recipe for a top predator. Ominous. So that's Velociraptor. You can see the figure in the box, which we'll go ahead and free right now and get a look at this one. There it is. It's got a couple plastic ties. I didn't think Ian had any plastic ties, but it looks like Raptor has a couple on its keep its hands in place. So we'll pop those out and get this Raptor out. It's tail comes disconnected as well. It's just gonna pop out of this plastic with very little effort, and we'll go ahead and connect the tail. Doesn't look like the tail goes in any particular way. It just kind of goes in. Oh yeah, this thing is awesome. So the big figures, you know, are kind of big and, you know, a little bit, you know, they're just thicker figures to begin with. But this Raptor looks so cool. It's a little more delicate, right? The details are a little bit finer, but you can see it's still got all that awesome skin wrinkling and ridges and all that. And the paint, you know, it's a little bit more pronounced than the Amber Collection one. Like you can really see the different greens and browns layering a lot better. It's still got the front claws painted, the toe claws painted. Of course, that head has the eyes painted gold, which look really cool. Then it also has the teeth painted. Articulation wise, this thing is unmatched. Of course, it has the articulation at the hips and the knees and the ankles at the foot. So you can do all kinds of poses, something you could never do with a Raptor figure at this scale. It has shoulder articulation and elbow articulation. So again, you can do all kinds of, you know, attack poses. Ooh, that one's a cool one with the feet out and then the mouth open, sort of like that jumping in the tall grass. That's so cool. Oh man, I'm gonna have a lot. I gotta open more than one of these, because I can do all kinds of cool pack poses too. And then it's got neck articulation. So at the base of the neck, it has a rotation, and then also at the top of the neck, where the head meets the neck moves. And then of course you have one jaw, bottom jaw articulation. Doesn't have top and bottom like the Amber Collection version. We'll go ahead and get the Amber Collection version out here for a quick comparison. But before we do that, I do want to get the latest Legacy Collection Raptor. This came with the kitchen set. So this is a, you know, standard, you know, Mattel figure. It's probably the closest thing that we can compare to the Hammond Collection version. This is supposed to be the Jurassic Park Raptor. It has a little bit of, you know, neck articulation. The arms go back and forth. The legs go back and forth. The claws aren't painted. Pretty simple paint job on this one overall. But then you have the Hammond Collection version that has all kinds of articulation, and you can pose the legs however you want, the arms however you want. You know, the tails, that bendy, I don't think I mentioned, but it's got the same bendy as the other Hammond Collection tails. And it's that softer or that harder plastic, so it feels a little bit more substantial. So you can just do so much more articulation with this figure. So much more attack poses and all that awesome stuff that you can't do with the run-of-the-mill 3 3/4 figure that just doesn't have that much articulation. So already beating out that figure in terms of articulation and paint applications. But we'll go ahead and compare it to the Amber Collection one, which is a little bit more apples to apples. It's obviously the big brother Raptor, right? You can see just how similar these figures are. You know, the Hammond Collection is almost a miniature version of it, right? Obviously, the Amber Collection one has, you know, that double jointed jaw, and it also has articulation at the wrists right here, and also the claws are articulated. Other than that, though, it has one more joint right here. So it has a joint here, a joint on the claws, a joint on the wrist, and I guess a joint at this top jaw. So it has a couple more joints. Otherwise, this one has the exact same articulation. The paint almost looks more complex on the smaller version. This is a $30 figure, the big one. This is a $12.99 figure. So the fact that they were able to pack all that detail and paint into the smaller version for $12.99 is pretty incredible, considering this one is $30 and this one is $12.99. If I had to pick one nitpicky thing about it that I like about the Amber Collection, it's the teeth on the Amber Collection are a little more defined. You can see they're almost individual, whereas on the Hammond Collection, it's sort of just like one big block of paint. I wish there's a little more definition there, but other than that, it being a better kind of flexible, versatile scale at this size. So you can scale with all the toys behind me. You can scale with the Legacy Collection Explorer. That's what makes these figures exciting, and why I'm like so obsessed with this Raptor, because I can't wait to mix it in with everything else. So, you know, added details, added articulation is really, really coming to life in this particular line from Mattel for Hammond Collection. So the best part is there's even more dinosaurs to come. We got T-Rex, we got Triceratops. I already talked about Alan Grant and Ellie coming. So this line is literally just getting started, and we already have 4 very unique figures compared to, you know, Amber Collection that just had a bunch of raptors over and over again. We already have 3 new species, and they're all incredible figures in their own right. So really exciting stuff. Again, I was so excited to review Hammond Collection, and it totally delivered. Obviously, I have a little bit of a defect on Baryonyx. Some people might not even consider it a defect, but for me, that's a deal breaker. Otherwise, I got only nice things to say about this line. I'm thrilled with it. Can't wait to see what comes next. And I love the figures we have so far. But I think that's all I got for today. Again, I'm Tim with Collect Jurassic. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.